So I've been replaying a lot of Assassin's Creed games recently, not grinding through the missions, not chasing objectives, just moving through the world, and at some point it hit me. Assassin's Creed doesn't feel like it's failing, but it also doesn't feel like it fully knows what it wants to be anymore. It feels like a franchise standing still at a crossroad. It's not collapsing, it's not surging forward, it's just somewhat paused, looking down 2 or 3 different roads, unsure which one to take. And the longer it stays there, the more obvious that hesitation becomes. When Assassin's Creed first started, its identity was crystal clear. You were an assassin, the cities were dense, parkour wasn't just movement, it was problem solving, and stealth wasn't optional, it was the fantasy. Everything then fed into that loop, because the cities were built for movement, crowds weren't used as decoration, they were tools for you to use, and rooftops weren't just scenery, there were different routes you could take to escape. And most importantly, the world felt designed around the player's abilities. You didn't just exist in the space, you understood it. That clarity is why the Ezio games worked so well, not because they were perfect, but because they knew exactly what experience they were offering. And to be fair, Assassin's Creed needed to evolve. The old formula was getting tired, annual releases were stretching it thin, and players wanted more freedom, more choice, more scale. Origins was the turning point, and to be honest, it worked. The RPG shift made sense at that time. It refreshed combat, it opened exploration, it gave players room to breathe, but evolution only works when it's guided. Somewhere between Odyssey, Valhalla, and Assassin's Creed Shadows, the games stopped evolving with intent and started expanding for expansion's sake. We had bigger maps, more systems, more checklists, but that doesn't mean the game had more meaning. Because with scale, modern Assassin's Creed worlds are massive, and visually they are stunning. We can't disagree with that. You can tell how much work goes into building them, but scale also changes how a game feels. When worlds get this big, everything is spread out. Cities become smaller relative to the map, traversal becomes downtime, parkour becomes optional instead of essential. You spend a lot of time just traveling, riding from one marker to another, sailing, fast traveling, watching scenery go by, and it gets pretty boring. Compare that to the older games where everything was condensed, where moving across the city was the gameplay, where getting from point A to point B was interesting. The problem isn't that the worlds are bad, it's that they don't always serve the core Assassin's Creed mechanics anymore, which includes parkour, because that used to be the soul of Assassin's Creed. Cities that were vertical, routes that mattered, and then learning the layout made you faster, cleaner, and better. Now parkour still exists, the animations are smoother than ever, especially with now in Assassin's Creed Shadows, but the environment rarely demands it. If most of your time is spent riding across open land, approaching objectives from flat terrain, fighting enemies head on, then parkour becomes flavor instead of function. And that's a huge shift for a series built on movement mastery. This is where the crossroads really show, because Ubisoft knows what different halves of the audience that they want. Some players want stealth first gameplay, dense cities, social stealth, and black box assassination. Others want RPG depth, freedom of approach, long progression systems, and open exploration. So instead of choosing a direction, the games try to do both. And when a game tries to be a stealth game, an RPG, an historical sim, a live service platform, and a cinematic action game, something always gets diluted, and that usually is the thing Assassin's Creed was built on. This is why Mirage was so interesting. It wasn't perfect, but it felt deliberate. A dense city, movement-focused design, stealth as the default, a clear intent in gameplay mechanic. It felt like Ubisoft briefly remembered, oh yeah, right, this is Assassin's Creed, this is what it feels like. The worry was that Mirage feels more like a test than a commitment, a side experiment rather than the future, which brings us back to the crossroads, because Mirage's recent DLC, Valley of Memory, had universal praise from both sides of the pond, the classic fans and the RPG fans. Why? Because it went back to that same storytelling formula. The map was still massive, but it had intent. There was reasons why you were going to each location, and you spent time in them. Ubisoft should just go back to that. Use what they learned from the Valley of Memory DLC, implement it into their future titles. Fans know what they want, so just listen to them. But again, this isn't about good versus bad game. Assassin's Creed still makes high quality titles. The art direction is strong, the history is fascinating, the music is incredible. The main issues are its identity and story. Right now, I feel like Assassin's Creed is a franchise afraid to fully commit to any one version. They're afraid of alienating any part of the audience and afraid of closing doors. But standing at a crossroads forever isn't safe, it's stagnation. At some point, you have to choose a road and walk it. Personally, I don't think Assassin's Creed Creed needs to go that far backward, but it does need to decide what it wants to be. If it wants to be a stealth-first series again, design everything around that. If it wants to be an RPG, build systems that actually reinforce the fantasy of being an assassin, not give us The Witcher 2.0. And then if it wants to blend both, then the world, missions, and traversal need to support that blend intentionally. Commitment matters more than scale, and focus matters more than size. Now, I still love Assassin's Creed, that hasn't changed, but the next few years feel really important for the franchise, a lot more important than people realize, because this is the moment Ubisoft either choose a clear identity for the future or keep drifting between ideas hoping something sticks. So I'm generally curious what you guys think about this. What do you want Assassin's Creed to be? Where do you want it to go? And what would your favorite Assassin's Creed game be if it was an RPG? Or what would your favorite RPG Assassin's Creed game be if it was like the older style? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you like the video, a like would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe for some more Assassin's Creed content. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.